I'd like to call the Isabella County Board of Commissioners regular board hybrid meeting to order, please. Everyone would stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Clerk Lux, if you'd like to call roll, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Present.
Commissioner Engler.
Present.
Commissioner Jelzinski.
Present.
Commissioner Marino.
Present.
Commissioner Swaney.
Present.
Commissioner Hope.
Present.
Commissioner Horton.
Present.
All present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux. Next up, approval of the agenda. We have general public comment sections, which will have two of those. Next brings us to presentations and special reports. We have the County Administrator Controller report. Next, we have 6 items under appointments to boards and commissions. Consent agenda, we have an issue. We have the normal consent agenda, which brings us down to committee reports. Finance Administration Committee.
Finance and Administration is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Next up, Criminal Justice and County Affairs. We have no business. Human Resources and Public Works. We have no business. Intergovernmental Affairs. Vice Chairman Hope, do you have anything under Intergovernmental Affairs this evening?
Not tonight.
We have nothing under Administrator Controller reports. Item number 9, unfinished business. There are no action items. Item number 10, we have 3 business things to discuss. Brings us to general public comments, announcements, and then the adjournment for the end of the year. So that brings us back to approval of the agenda. Commissioners, can I get a motion and support for this, please?
Jelzinski.
We have a motion and support to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, the same. We have an agenda for tonight. Next up, general public comments. First of all, we're going to go to the live studio audience. We have a 3-minute limit on that. And the person, if they want to speak, please give their name and contact information. Anybody in the general public audience? Hello, Dr. Bills.
Short. Connie Lee Bills. Thursday. Mount Pleasant. I am the representative of Union Township. I just wanted to thank you for being so nice to me. And we, Union Township, would like to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season. And
And same from this board back to your township board. Thank you very much. Anybody else? All right, Nicole, let's go to the virtual side. Anybody with their hand raised on the virtual side? Okay, in the instance of brevity and moving this meeting along, we'll close public comment. We'll have another time for public comment later in the agenda. Next up, presentations and special reports. And this will be the last one given by County Administrator Controller McAvoy, unless she decides to phone in from her upcoming trip for the rest of the year, but
well, the board's not meeting again for the rest of the year.
There you go.
Well, I guess I could call into the organization.
I won't.
No, probably won't happen. I wouldn't, I will be with little people that night. So I would like to, please, can you hear me? No, okay. I'm just going to hold it, Michelle. I'm good. I would like to change a little bit from the original format. And I would like to talk a little bit about the accomplishments that we have made in the last 8 years. And it's a wide we. It's my staff, it's the office staff and the administrator controllers, it's the board of commissioners, it's the elected officials, it's the department heads, it's our employees. So let's think about what we've accomplished in the last 8 years. We've opened a public defender's office in response to the guidelines and requirements of the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission. That was after a lengthy study that was accomplished with an ad hoc committee and working through all the processes for that. That is something that this county ought to be very, very proud of. The Board of Commissioners initiated a classification compensation study, which was completed, which was studied, which has been implemented, and has had a huge effect, I believe, on the recruitment and retention of our employees. The Board of Commissioners also authorized that a facility feasibility study be released, and it was accomplished. The study was delivered to the Board of Commissioners. The study determined that structurally and engineering wise, the trial court building is in excellent condition. The county building was structurally sound, but has some mechanicals that need to be, well, all the mechanicals need to be updated. Has a roof issue, which we all are aware of. An HVAC air quality issue, which is being addressed with the roof issue. The feasibility study is a great source document moving forward on that county building as you start looking at your capital improvements that you want to do to that building. The study recommended replacing the current sheriff's office and jail. And I'm very happy to say that the facility has been primarily designed. As the sheriff has said, most of that was accomplished during COVID in Teams meetings and other things. And I would like to say that the sheriff has led that design task from the county's viewpoint and has done a great job, has visited a number of facilities. The ad hoc committee visited Midland County a couple of years ago. And, the expertise of the sheriff and his staff in this process has been just unmeasured. The land has been purchased. The funding has been pre-approved. We're awaiting final submittal and final approval. And hopefully you will be planning a groundbreaking in the spring. We implemented a transition to BS&A for all of our accounting, payroll, accounts payable. Everything from us putting together that the whole budget system has changed. The reporting system, which now comes to you quarterly, was newly instituted. BS&A, I want to make it clear that it is all the accounting, all the payroll, all the accounts payable. Almost every single person touches something in BS&A sometime in the process. Staff, department heads, elected officials. It takes a long time before you see those reports that come out to you that a whole lot of people have touched something in. The E. coli, as a result of the E. coli study that was done by the Saginaw Chippewa Indian tribe, there was an ad hoc committee to study that, and that resulted in the time of transfer program, which has been a huge initiative for our state. You should be very proud of that. We have issued and revised a number of policies and issued new policies, procurement policies, credit card management, federal grant management, travel, remote access. Because the Board of Commissioners approved a remote access policy that we drafted and recommended to you when COVID hit and we had the close down and we had the lockdown and we had so many people working remote, we were a front runner in the state. And I cannot tell you how many of my colleagues contacted me and said, do you have a policy? Yes, we do. So you ought to be very happy with that. Capital asset management policy, fund balance classification policy, website accessibility and website privacy policy. We have an excellent relationship with the city of Mount Pleasant, the Charter Township of Union, Central Michigan University, and the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe. We are now active in local, regional, and state boards and commissions. I believe the county addressed the COVID pandemic crisis with an aggressive policy and implementation that was centered on the safety of our employees and the public, with a compassionate emphasis of compassion and support for those of our employees and their families who were affected by that disease. I want to say thank you to the tremendous team in the Administrator Controller's Office, Jessica Jawazowitz, Nicole Frost, Chris Whitmer, Emma Nieport, Leanne, Steve Korenovic, and Melissa Franquist. It has been my pleasure and honor to work with them every single day. I don't think that I could ever have surrounded myself with a more dedicated, professional, intelligent, compassionate group of people. And it has been my pleasure to serve with them. And I will say, out of that whole list that I just led, the person who was there the day I first started here, is Leanne Grinzinger. Every one of those people were new to the team in the last 8 years. And I think you would never know that because they are so good at what they do. I also want to thank the outstanding department heads who report directly to me that I have worked with every single day and that I am so proud to call my colleagues. Steve Shoemaker, Mark Griffiths, Jen Crawford, Tim Nieport, Pete Preston, Michelle Ray, Sue Ann Kopmeyer, Tom Hausman, Jake Borton, and Ian Welch. I'd put them up against any department head anywhere. I want to thank the elected officials, Steve Pickens, Mindy Lux, Karen Jackson, Bob Willoughby, Dave Barberi, and Sheriff Maine. I'm telling you that the relationship between an administrator controller and the elected officials is very important. And I appreciate these folks very much. I look at Mindy. Mindy, you and I work together all the time, and I will miss you. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you to all of the elected officials. I work with some more closely than others. Obviously, Sheriff Maine and I work very closely together. Dave Barberi may be a new prosecutor, but he hit the ground running, and all of the elected officials. I appreciate them. I appreciate their roles. I also want to thank the trial court, particularly Chief Judge Eric Janes, who has been such a pleasure to work with. We have gone through these difficult times together. I appreciate him. I appreciate the court administrator, Carrie Curtis. She has been a pleasure to work with. I also want to recognize Judge Mark Duthie, Judge Stuart Black, and Judge Sarah Spencer Nagel. Wonderful, wonderful jurists, and proud to work with them. And I want to thank the entire court staff, obviously, but I want to thank the Board of Commissioners. I thank you for your cooperation. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your leadership. I wish all of you nothing but the best. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. All right, that next brings us to appointments to boards and commissions.
First appointment is Board of Public Works Chairman's request for nominations for one opening on the Isabella County Board of Public Works for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. We have one applicant who's an incumbent, Tim Wolf, who is the village manager at Lake Isabella and is requested to continue his service.
We have one nomination. Are there any other nominations you'd like to bring forward? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Move to close nominations and cast the unanimous ballot for Tim Wolf for the Board of Public Works.
Support.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for Tim Wolf to be appointed to the Board of Public Works. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Mr. Wolf is back on the Board of Public Works.
All right, item B, second appointment, Commissions on Aging Advisory Board at-large representative. Chairman's request for nominations for one opening on the Isabella County Commissions on Aging Advisory Board as an at-large representative for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until successor is appointed. And we have, again, one nomination, Roger B. Moreau, who is reported that he's a volunteer at the Commission on Aging and would like to start a first term if we approve him.
All right, we have a nomination for Richard B. Moreau. Do we have any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Richard B. Moreau for the Commission on Aging Advisory Board at-large representative.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Richard B. Moreau for the Commission on Aging Advisory Board at-large representative. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We have Richard B. Moreau being appointed to the Commission on Aging Advisory Board at-large representative.
Third appointment, Parks and Recreation Commission. Chairman's request for nominations for 2 openings on the Isabella County Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. And we have 2 nominees for the 2 positions. Both are incumbents, Craig Klingman, Klingen, and John Denise.
Mr. Chairman, I'll nominate Greg Klingman for the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Support.
We have, you want to treat them one at a time then? Is that how we want to do this? Because we have an issue coming up with the next one, I think, in the planning commission. Or what would be the recommended way to do this?
I would do them one at a time.
Okay. We have a nomination for Craig S. Klingman. No, yes, Craig S. Klingman. Klingen. For Parks and Recreation Committee. We'll do it one at a time. If we have any other nominations for that one position, we'll go to the next one in a moment. Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Craig Klingen for Parks and Recreation Commission.
Support.
We have a motion and support to close nominations for the first position for the Parks and Recreation Committee for Craig S. Klingen. Any further discussion? Hearing,
Chairman, just one point. I have had opportunity to work with both these gentlemen this 6 years. And I was so happy when they both decided to put their application in again, because I know Craig has been the disc golf. He's actually brought that in tournaments to there, and John's been on there since I've been there too. So you can get good people to stay there. It's really important. So
all part of community involvement. It's good to see that. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor of Craig S. Klingman, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Craig S. Klingman is back on the Parks and Recs Committee. Commissioner Moreno.
support.
We have a motion and support. Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations?
I'll move that we close nominations and appoint John Dinsey to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Support.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and appoint and approved by unanimous ballot for Parks and Recreation Commission, John Dinsey. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same. John Dinsey is back on the Parks and Rec Commission.
Okay, we have next up, Planning Commission. Chairman's request for nomination for 2 openings on the Isabella County Planning Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, until a successor is appointed. We have 3 applicants, Kelly Bean, incumbent, Gerald Nyer, incumbent, and Tim Wolf.
Okay, since we have 2 openings, I'll call for the first opening. Do we have any nominations for the first opening? Commissioner Jelzinski.
I nominate Kelly Bean for the Planning Commission.
Support.
Okay, we have any other nominations for the first opening? Any other nominations for the first opening? Any other nominations?
I'll move to close nominations and vote it, cast a unanimous ballot for Kelly Bean for Planning Commission.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Kelly Bean for the Planning Commission. Any further discussion?
Here. I've worked with Kelly Bean this past year as I've been on the Planning Commission, and he chairs the commission, as many of you probably know, and does a great job at it. So fully support him returning, and I'm happy to see he applied again.
And I would agree with you on that. I was before you got on, I was on it for 8 years, and I think Kelly was on it for most of it. I think there was 1 or 2 years he left, but he came back. So it's very good. Kelly's a super nice gentleman. Okay, hearing no further discussion. All in favor for Kelly Bean, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Kelly Bean is back on the Planning Commission. Now for the next opening. Any nominations? Commissioner Moreno.
Support.
We have a motion and support to nominate Gerald Meyer. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and appoint Gerald Nyer to the Planning Commission.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and approved by unanimous ballot Gerald Nyer for the Planning Commission. Any further discussion?
Again, I worked with Gerald Nyer on the Planning Commission, and he's always there and always asking questions and interactive. So good to see him back applying for it.
And I agree with that. Any other further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same. Gerald Nyer is back on the Planning Commission.
Okay, Transportation Commission. Chairman's request for nominations for one opening on the Isabella County Transportation Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. We have one applicant, Michael H. Pun, who is an incumbent. Mr. Chairman, I will move the nomination of Michael H. Pung for Transportation Commission.
We have Michael H. Pung as a nomination. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Michael H. Pung for Transportation Commission.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for Transportation Commission for Michael H. Pung. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Michael H. Pung is back on the Transportation Commission.
Zoning Board of Appeals. Chairman's request for nominations for one opening on the Isabella County Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. We have one applicant, Thomas Riley, an incumbent. Mr. Chairman, I wish to nominate Thomas Riley to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
We have one nomination for Thomas Riley. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close nominations, cast a unanimous ballot for Thomas Riley for zoning board of appeals.
We have a motion and support to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for the Zoning Board of Appeals for Thomas Riley. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same, Thomas Riley is back on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that completes our appointments for the year 2021. Okay, next up, consent agenda. And as always, Commissioner Hutchinson, please.
Motion reads, move to approve and place on file the December 7th, 2021 regular meeting minutes and the December 14th, 2021 Finance and Administration Committee meeting minutes.
We have a motion and support to approve and place on file the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes,
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
thank you, Clerk Lux. Next up, committee reports. First up, Finance and Administration Committee.
Chairman, item number 1 is the December 3rd, 2021 invoice list, the revised December 10th, 2021 invoice list, and the December 16th, 2021 adjustment list. And the motion reads, move to ratify and place on file the December 3rd, 2021 invoice list in the amount of $497,833.91. The revised December 10th, 2021 invoice list in the amount of $243,689.01, and the adjustment list dated December 16th, 2021.
Support.
We have a motion and support to ratify and place on file the December 3rd, 2021 invoice list, the revised December 10th, 2021 invoice list, and the December 16th, 2021 adjustment list. Discussion, please.
Okay, taking just a real quick look at these, the first list of December 3rd, we have a payment to Integrated Architecture for the Isabella County Sheriff's Office Correctional Facility Project, JP Morgan Chase credit card, State of Michigan, November Circuit Court transmittals, Avenue Holdings for the fiscal year 21 annual vital records contract for the clerk's office. And then we have several invoices for Mission Creek Drain. A lot of work going on there. The Miss Dig System annual maintenance and membership fee, equipment for a patrol car, and our WellPath LLC monthly medical services contract. That is what provides services, medical services for the inmates. Right Express monthly credit card charge in the November District Probate Court transmittals. Those are the large over $5,000 items. Moving on to the next list, we have our hats bi-weekly payment. A couple of them made that list. And then Kowinski Construction, the door and side light replacement at Commission on Aging. And then again, several invoices having to do with Mission Creek Drain, Yo and Yo Computer Consulting for Barracuda and Exchange software license for email for information systems, and then a invoice for ammo supplies for the sheriff's department. The adjustment list, the typical things that we always see, the Gordon Food Service invoices that we pay early to get the early payment discount. Same with Verizon. And then a couple invoices decreased due to mileage calculation errors. And a couple invoices voided due to already being paid. And that, Mr. Chairman, that about covers those.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on the two invoices and the and the supplemental or adjustment list? Hearing and seeing none, clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Sweeney, Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Horton.
Yes,
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
thank you, clerk Lux.
The next item is the Securus Technologies Contract Addendum. Motion reads, move to approve the contract addendum 2021 FCC order, option 2, between Isabella County and Securus Technologies LLC, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Well, I was all prepared to give a,
One moment. Go ahead. We have a motion and support to approve the Securus Technologies Contract Addendum. Discussion.
prepared to provide the background on it, but I see the sheriff's here and he'll do a much better job than me at it. So
He's got a gun with him too, so he gets priority, so.
Good evening. Oh, very bad news. Oh. Cost. Phone call. Thousand or less. Have. Cost us about $90,000. So, curious. Stop. 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 Extended. They would increase it a little bit for us. About $14,000 a year. And the extended 25 year. And then the third doc. Oh, but we just took some time here for due diligence, and we actually got our attorneys go through it. Some of their paperwork and secure is a little muddy for us to really get through. Tim from the attorney's office did kind of clean it up and kind of stuff out a little clear for us. So we did think that. So that was a bonus to us as well. And then we didn't have to worry about a large RFP during the whole jail build. So there was some value to that. Once that's done, that 2025 year, then we'll do an RFP and maybe that. Increase some of the, this is just the phone calls. It's not video visitation. It's not sales. We didn't take a look at that stuff. And we we did increase those. It's not a ton, it's not going to generate lost revenue that we're looking at, but it will help.
Twelzinski.
The only question I have is maybe the only upside to this, phone calls going to be less costly to the inmates that use that service?
Right. We don't know yet. So maybe that number gets higher because maybe, it's hard to say at this point in time. When you just look at the raw numbers, it's a budgetary revenue hit for us and a substantial amount, so. No, there's no challenge to it, it's a done deal.
Commissioner Engler.
Yeah, do you see this as an outlier as far as just the phone, or do you think that there's more coming down with some of the other, such as your video or the concession parts?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any discussion with that, the requirement is phone, everything else is ancillary or, just a bonus to have available to them. I don't think they will look at that. I mean, as long as we can provide a phone service, which is a requirement, and then they'll dictate the cost. I don't think they'll really look at that. So I think where the RP, when it comes time to renew, will be, depending on what these companies, are they willing to take a bigger hit revenue profit wise and make it more lucrative for the facilities. So we'll see how that plays out, but I think that extending it out a year is a magnitude of things going on right now. That, to be honest with you, I really don't want to change.
Yeah, will the new facility have extra phones available on the current system, or would that be?
So it's probably designed
Okay.
We have so many cells now, where now we got this eye-shaped pod. That's phones, but with our tablets and our tablet, been well received by the inmates, and they can make video calls on the tablets and stuff, so they rent those, and it's like $5 or $10 a month to rent it. So it's pretty cheap, to have that. They can listen to music. There's controlled content of videos, movies and so forth, and music and that kind of thing onto it. They make their phone calls onto it. So I think there'll be less need for the actual phones on the wall.
Other questions or discussion for the sheriff? Thank you, Sheriff Mann. Any other comments from the commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Wexler, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Wexler.
Okay, item number 3 is MERS 457 participation agreement. And the motion reads, move to approve the Michigan Employees Retirement System MERS 457 participation agreement and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Report. We have a motion and support to approve the MERS 457 participation agreement. Discussion, please.
So as an employer, we have people in a defined benefit program. We also have folks in a defined contribution program. Both of those groups are eligible to make voluntary tax deferred contributions to one of 3 457B retirement vehicles. There's no employee match. It's entirely an employee contribution. This adds one more 457 plan, and it's one administered by MERS.
Any further discussion? Very good explanation. I think that fits perfectly. All right, hearing and seeing no further discussion. Clerk Wexler, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of the Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you, gentlemen. That brings us down to Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee, which we have no business. Under Human Resources of Public Works, the same. Nothing under Intergovernmental Affairs and nothing under the Administrator Controller. Next up, unfinished business. We have no other actions on that. Brings us,
Okay, item A is the Murph Baler repair, and the motion reads, move to approve a cost increase for the material recovery facility Baler repair project in the amount of $17,535.70 for added cost for cylinder repairs, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
we have a motion and support to approve the Materials Recovery Facility or the MRF Baler Repair. Discussion, please.
And our material recovery facility administrator, Jake Ward, is here to walk us through this.
Thank you, Jake.
And or it's money that you don't. In the repair Baler cylinder. One of the main rams. There was an increase, there was a small increase on the main ram cylinder of $2,289.87, which that some of the issues with that, and that's a pair of issues that we had on the main ram. The ejection cylinder, there was an increase in cost on that of $10,741.33, because basically they had to fill the whole cylinder. And you can see within the report itself, International Baler, they were looking at 10 to 12 weeks minimum. They did not have an injection cylinder in-house. And that cylinder, if that would have been a way to sort of went, would have been $43,110 to buy that cylinder. The company that we use. They managed to be able to get barrel stock in we're looking at full.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Jazinski.
Was this the first time since Murph has been operating that these cylinders have been repaired?
This is on this particular, this vehicle has been in place. Relining.
I probably should look at the contract closer too, but is there a warranty then from the company for all these repairs?
New cylinder that was built, the main. Because of the damage on the barrel out.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, that is the main cog of the whole system there. It runs every day. And when you get a tractor blows up in the middle of the field, you gotta either fix it or else buy a new one. So usually that is, but like I said, for a cylinder for that long a time, it's used just about every day. It's wore out and you usually have to be replaced. And anytime you can get for something for that big of an equipment, 17,000 sounds like a lot, but it is kind of a minor repair that you usually run into. So you don't like to spend it, but usually anything under 20,000, I always consider, something that's worth six figures. It's usually repairable. So anyways, I don't think you have much choice but to fix it. So. Because we know what the price of a new one is. Yes.
Any other discussion among commissioners? Jake, I just looked at the background and it just, I'm not gonna get melancholy here, but I read all the descriptions of new rods, home barrels, new seals, main ram cylinders, rework piston and gland, hard home barrel, then reseal and test. And it just brought back memories. My father was a machine repairman at Buick and skilled trades, and I thought, I didn't get any of his genes because that makes zero sense to me what I just read there. So I knew at least Commissioner Engler would help me out. Commissioner Green is no longer here with us on the board, but he would have been all over this too. So I'm glad some of the Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Engler, and other commissioners can add something because this is way beyond me. So I'm just glad that you're doing your best to manage your department and run it in the best, feasible and efficacy way that you can do it. So thank you for that. So. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing and seeing none. Clerk, what's the roll call vote, please?
Mr. Chairman, who supported that?
That would have been, that's a good question. Would it be
I
you?
think I did.
So fast,
I
didn't
did.
hear.
We both
Very-
did, but
All three of you?
I tried to make my voice louder.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear which one got it, so I'll put you in. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake.
Okay, it brings us to item B, 2022 Isabella County Board of Commissioners Organizational Meeting. Motion reads, move to schedule the 2022 Isabella County Board of Commissioners Organizational Meeting for Tuesday, January 4th, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Support.
We have a motion and support to schedule the 2022 Isabella County Board of Commissioners Organizational Meeting. Discussion.
So first Tuesday in January is when we always have our organizational meeting. So
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Clerk Luxer, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hope,
yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, item C is Open Meetings Act update.
I'll talk into the microphone. So I just want to know the Board of Commissioners have probably all read the update that came out in the legislative update with MAC. In case anybody didn't see it, I just want to go through it real quickly and just give you a little brief overview and a couple of recommendations. So effective January 1st, the only legal basis for a member of a public body to participate in a meeting via telephone or video conference as a member to count towards a vote, to be counted towards a quorum, to deliberate or decide on the decision is if that member is absent due to military duty. So as of January 1st, all public, not just the Board of Commissioners, but all of our commissions and boards, Planning Commission, the Murph Advisory, Public Parks and Rec, all of them will need to follow the requirements that all members who are going to count towards a quorum, deliberate, or vote must be physically in attendance. My recommendation is that the Board of Commissioners committee meetings meet in person starting after January 1st, because that's part of a deliberative process. I would recommend that the Board of Commissioners continue to meet here, because as we all know, and you're all watching on television and the news, you know that the cases are going up in Michigan. We need to keep people as safe and healthy as possible. This has been a tremendous location for us. I would suggest that the Board of Commissioners continue to meet here. I would suggest all other commissioners that have more than 3 people on their board and commission meet here, moving forward also until you decide elsewise. Remember that the public and presenters and department heads and elected officials and any other staff you have can participate remotely. It's the members of the public body who have to be present. So let's say that second week in January, we're going to use Jake because Jake's here. That something else comes up at Murph and Jake needs to make a presentation, Jake would not have to physically be here. He could still call in, he could still be Zoom. I recommend the Board of Commissioners continue to use Zoom and continue to use YouTube, because I will tell you, I'm shocked by how many people in the community tell me they watch the meetings. Maybe not why we're here, but sometime they go on the YouTube channel. And you have much more transparency and much more public interest, I think, since we've been doing them that way. So that would be my recommendation moving forward, to keep the YouTube, to keep Zooming, but all of the members of the body, Board of Commissioners, other boards and commissions are going to have to be physically present unless that member is on military duty.
Margaret, real quick.
Yes, sir.
And I'll turn to Nicole on this question, so it's kind of thrown to you, but will there have to be a policy and procedure drafted for all this, or this is just going to be what we're going to do? I mean, do you have to put that in like a?
No, I don't think so. And Nicole and I have talked about this. She knew that was going to be my recommendation tonight. You know, if after January 1st, she wants to make a different recommendation, I guess she could, but we've discussed it. You don't have any choice except that the public body members have to be in attendance unless they're on military duty. The only choice you have, I would say, would be where you're going to locate. And I think this is a much safer place for all of you and any staff and any public that's here. And I think keeping the access available to other folks to participate remotely is a great thing to do. And I strongly recommend that. If, you know, down the road as things change, if you want to look at different options, but you're going to have a meeting that first Tuesday in January. And I think that we should have a plan for where you're going to meet, how you're going to meet for the next couple meetings. We haven't had a written policy about how we're meeting since we came back doing this anyways.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to do that. I think if you do that, then you're going to have the issue of, oh, we need to revise that. Oh, we need to change it. When does that policy expire? I think you're doing a great job. I think we've done a great job. The board's done a fabulous job in how you're handling this. And I would just continue to move forward with what you're currently doing, except to make it clear that all of the members of the body have to be present. And I will tell you, I had a Michigan Indigent Defense Commission meeting this morning, and this came up there too. We have a member who is in Marquette, yes. And we were talking about when the next time we're going to meet, and, you know, do we want to move the meeting to 10 from 9? Because that would be better for the people who are driving 3 hours. And Gary said, I drive 8 to get to the meeting. I come the day before and drive 8. That gentleman, you know, now is on a medical exemption because he has a family member who has a medical condition, but that exemption will expire January 1st. And he'll have to either be there or not participate.
Thank you. Any questions for Margaret on that, or Administrator Controller? Hearing and seeing none, that'll move us to the general public comments. Any general public comments from the live studio audience? Nobody in the live studio audience. Nicole, do we have anybody with their hand raised on the virtual side? Okay, well, in the interest of brevity, I will close public comments and move to announcements. Commissioners, any announcements? Vice Chairman Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say the Isabella County Restoration House is in need of volunteers. They utilize a lot of CMU students, and they all are home for the holidays, so they really need volunteers these next few weeks. Their website is icrhouse.org. You can look there. There's a link to volunteer for shifts. It's real easy to do. They've been very stringent about COVID and how they handle that. Everybody that comes in gets screened, their temperature taken. They had no cases last year and have had none so far this year. So they've done really well from that standpoint. They've had fewer hosts this year, fewer churches that take the folks at night. So there's a few weeks where people are being housed at the day shelter. So little make some extra work. They're there on kind of an emergency basis while we are short of weekly hosts. But yeah, it's easy to do. It's divided up into shifts. So give some thought. That's all I have.
Okay, any other commissioners? Okay, I just have a few things tonight. I just want to, this is going to be our last meeting of the year. I sent Vice Chairman Hope, Margaret, and Nicole this week just an update that I got from ICL, which is Institute of Continuing Legal Education in Michigan, giving them an update as far as mandatory vaccine mandates, where it falls. And right now, I believe it was February. Right now it sits that we're going to be being, because we're an employer of over 100. Right now, there's going to have to be a mandate in place the way it sits right now in the courts, unless it goes to the Supreme Court, which it most likely will. So currently that is, they moved it from January something to February. But as we go forward, we talked about the open meetings. This is going to be another issue that's going to be front and center for us, no choice issue. So, so that was the first thing. Second thing, as chairperson this year, I've had the great pleasure of working with Administrator Controller McAvoy on a much different level than I did the previous years she's been here. And the board, several meetings ago, we passed a resolution, and we had I believe it was December 3rd, Margaret McAvoy Day at the county building, where she received the resolution that we did for her. She received a nice plaque and everything, and it was presented. I did a presentation twice because the sound didn't go the first time, so I had to do it again. That's a long presentation, by the way. But the commissioners and I wanted to get you a little something for it. So they tasked me to do it. So you get what you get when you get me to do it. So this is a little theme. You don't have to open it now, but it's a little theme about your future.
Thank you.
And it's we all know that you're going to take time and you're going to go visit your family. You got a trip coming up and you're going to go out and visit family and spend some time. But we all know sooner or later you can't sit still. So this will kind of help you down the road. There's a little gift certificate in there, and there's some other little odds and things that will hopefully remind you of us when those times when you're in meetings or when you're having to do some presentation preparation and everything. So we'll go over that later. So that's kind of that right there.
Well, thank you. I tell you, I appreciate that. And I know whatever it is, I will always remember my time at Isabella County, and I will always remember the people I have worked with, and I will always remember the Board of Commissioners, whether it's the 2013 Board of Commissioners that hired me or the present Board of Commissioners. It's been nothing but an honor and a pleasure for me. And I know that moving forward, you're going to be in great hands, and the leadership on the board is tremendous. Your next administrator controller is going to do a great job. So I just, again, want to thank the Board of Commissioners, and I hope we stay connected. And you're all going to get an email from me with my personal cell phone and my personal email address. So anytime, please contact me. And if I can ever be of any help to Isabella County, just call me. I would do it in a minute. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, last on my list tonight. This is my first year being chairperson of this board, and I 100% thoroughly enjoyed it. I thank the commissioners for nominating me and working with me this year. It's been an interesting and long year. We had to make some difficult decisions right off the bat, and I think we worked well together. We had 7 months where we had to do everything from our bedrooms to our offices to wherever we were at. We all met. It was like playing Hollywood Square. Frank always seemed to be in the Charlie Weaver spot for some reason. I have no idea why. But, we persevered. We finally got to meet live again, see some friendly faces. I've had the chance to serve on some different boards. I served on a board with Commissioner Moreno. That board is a very impressive board. He does a wonderful job on that. So I thank him for doing that. This also was a year for me of a challenging role personally. The end of February, I retired from pharmacy. I left downtown drugs, retired from the practice of pharmacy, and I opened up, basically hung a shingle and practice law now. I've done that since the end of February. And it's been going very, very well for me. I thoroughly enjoy it. In fact, I just am opening up a second office here in Mount Pleasant in January. So I'll have both an office in Big Rapids and in Mount Pleasant. I've also, Margaret always talks about jewels in the crown. One of my longtime goals, one of my dreams has always been to teach pharmacy law. And I've been given the opportunity in January. It's only an adjunct 2-credit course, but I'll be teaching pharmacy law at Ferris State for the School of Pharmacy. So that'll be in Grand Rapids, and it's going to be on Wednesday afternoons and Thursday mornings. So obviously that'll take a little bit of time away from town here. And because of that, and everything else with building my business and everything, I feel that I am not going to seek nomination for next year to be chairperson. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's a very, it's more time consuming than one knows. It's a lot of behind the scenes. It's a lot of day to day, and you take it personally. It's very prideful. You never want to do anything. I don't want to say half-ass, or I won't say half-ass, but you never want to do. You always want to do it professional, and you take kind of a different role. Everyone on this board here are leaders, but you have to sometimes make decisions, and you have to go and, you communicate with everybody, and you get calls that you never thought you were going to get. I am not going to seek nomination next year. I'm still going to be a commissioner. My term ends next year. But I just cannot, I don't want to do something and not do it well. So that being said, I enjoyed being your chairperson this year, and whomever the board decides for next year, I'll be in 115% support of. And I look forward to working with you gentlemen for one more year at least. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll ask for motion and support for adjournment, please.
Jelazinski.
We have a motion and support for adjournment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. We are adjourned at 7:58.
Basically, we set the schedule for the year, and we elect a